Hey everybody, and welcome to this new podcast episode. This is a screenshot of my website, and I'm just gonna go over all the destinations that I would recommend that you consider for your elopement if you have no idea where to elope in the world. So this is a list of more than 70 options that I would recommend. And I do have my top 10 that I'm gonna share at the end, so you'll have also more insights about that. So you have different types of landscapes when it comes to eloping, and you have some that are pretty much obvious and some others that you might never have thought about. So I'm just going to tell you all about different options that you have. So the first one that I think is cities. It is not a very obvious choice for an elopement, because when you think about eloping, you might think more about like natural locations, and I absolutely get it. But cities have proven to be also a very cool and very great environment for eloping, especially like if you have a beautiful hotel room with a balcony over like the rooftops, or like a beautiful sunset view from your room, stuff like that. It could be a great option to actually have a ceremony. Some cities also offer rooftop restaurants and like anything that offers a beautiful view. Sometimes also in parks. It's gorgeous. So I thought, even though it's not the most obvious choice, cities could be a good option. So the most beautiful cities in no particular order in that article. In general, there is no particular order. I would recommend Paris. Paris in France, obviously everybody knows Paris, the Eiffel Tower, pigeons, blah blah blah. It's a beautiful location in my opinion. It's very busy, and please do not choose like the peak season, which is July and August for us. It's gonna get like crazy, absolutely crazy in the streets. But you still have the option of having kind of a view on the Eiffel Tower or on the Seine at sunset. It's still a gorgeous city to do that. The second one will be Venice in Italy. So obviously everybody knows Venice. It's mainly known for the boats and the water, and all those old buildings are absolutely great for photos. Also very busy, so avoid the high peak of summer, which is for us July and August, and just go off season like May, even April could be good, and September, October would be great to visit Venice. You'll have tons of options, or like so many small streets they can just embrace the beauty of to have your ceremony, and so many little bridges also that could be very great. The third one is Bruges in Belgium. This is also a very kind of old vibey city that I would definitely recommend if you want to take photos. You don't have to have your ceremony there, but if you want to take photos in beautiful old streets like medieval towns, blah blah blah, Bruges is a great option. The fourth one is Calma by the Sea in California. I'm sure everybody has heard of it. It's kind of an old vibey town that looks like a European town. It's very beautiful, and it's right next to the sea, obviously, hence the name. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, because you can take photos in the streets with like small shops and stuff, and you can have your ceremony, or like take also photos on the beach or on the coast next to that town, which is like a great option. Rome in Italy, obviously that's the Italian capital. It's a beautiful city, can get a bit busy, but you still have some parts of Rome that are still overlooked and like not busy at all with tourists. So still pretty easy to find a location that could be and feel peaceful, especially like in parks overlooking the town, the city. I mean, that could be a great option. The sixth one is Florence in Italy, so Firenze. Also a beautiful city, very well known for its orange buildings. It's a beautiful city to like take photos in general, and you can still find some like very small streets that are very narrow and beautiful to have your ceremony. Vegas, Nevada, obviously like obvious choice for a very small and easy elopement. Everybody does it, very easy to do it. So anyways, New Orleans in Louisiana. Just avoid Mardi Gras because it gets absolutely crazy there. But anytime outside of that moment, I would say, is great because it definitely has like the Louisiana vibe, old French timey, yeah, vibes for sure. Beautiful music. Very peaceful in general, so it's a great option if you want a big city that is in the US but still has some of this old vibe that you're looking for. New York City, my favorite city in the USA. Obviously it's gorgeous, you have plenty of options. The downside of New York City would be that if you want to have an elopement somewhere, you have to pay to get a venue because it's not very easy to find. Like to find a location to have a ceremony, like right there, like in the streets, because it's so busy everywhere you go. So I would recommend, if you choose New York City, to actually rent a venue to have the best view possible on the city, and you won't regret it. Chicago also an option. Big buildings. Much easier to get eloped at than New York City, and so you kind of have the same vibe in terms of buildings and the height of buildings. Savannah in Georgia, also a great option. You have like all those old mossy trees that are great to take photos. You don't have to be in the city center to take photos. You can just go outside and just embrace the beauty of the landscapes that you have there in general. India, Udaipur. So this is a great option if you want something absolutely completely different from everything that you've seen before. You have those beautiful gates everywhere, and the buildings are beautiful colored, so it's a great option if you really want to embrace a brand new culture. Kyoto in Japan, obviously very famous as well. Kyoto and Tokyo, both are like great options in my opinion, even though obviously the most touristic locations are can be very crowded and touristy, especially during the cherry blossom season. If you avoid like the peak seasons in Japan, which are cherry blossoms, and a bit like in the autumn as well, it gets a bit crowded. Anywhere outside that will be a great option if you want like a peaceful street or like a very old-timey vibes buildings. It's a great option. And the last one is Quebec City in Canada. Old-timey vibe as well. French, definitely. Old shops, small streets, beautiful buildings in general. So also a great option. You have the river that passes right through it, and you also have the option of going to the national parks that are not very far away. So it's a great option in my opinion. Then you also have the options of the mountains, so to elope in the mountains. I would say that's kind of the most obvious elopement location, but it's one of the best because mountains are so big that in general you can just find yourself on top of a mountain and just find a secluded location to have your ceremony, even though it's it can be crowded. Like let's say you take a cable car up to a mountain, you might have some other people around you, but you can still find peace and beauty in the mountain tops that you choose. And that's kind of the most beautiful thing about mountains. Also, in some countries you can also rent a helicopter and go up to like a mountain top that is not accessible to anybody. Like you can do that in New Zealand, for instance. You can do it in Canada. You can't do it in France or Switzerland or even Norway. That's not really possible. You have to have a helipad, though it's not really an option in those countries. But if you want to have a mountaintop just for yourselves, then New Zealand and Canada are two of the best options because you can just ride a helicopter up to that mountain. And so if you want options for mountains, my first choice would be Patagonia, because it's still kind of off the radar. It's so hardly accessible. Not everybody goes there. It's not like Colorado or Switzerland because it's very famous. Patagonia holds that kind of beauty and magic, and is still off the beaten path for pretty much everybody that gets there. Obviously, if you want to go to like some of the most famous locations, you will find some other people there. Obviously, it's not like you're going to be the only one there, but it's still very easy to find a location where you be just yourselves, which I think I absolutely love about Patagonia. The Atlas Mountains in Morocco, nobody thinks about those mountains, but they are actually beautiful. It's not like they're not like high, very high mountains with peaks and stuff like that, but there are still mountains. You can find some gorgeous villages in the Atlas Mountains, and it's absolutely off the beaten path as well. So it's a great option if you want to be just yourselves for your ceremony. The Canary Islands, these are like islands in the Atlantic Ocean. They are part of Spain, and there are volcanic islands that are gorgeous, different kind of vibes. You have like some that don't have any trees on them. You have some that have like palm trees everywhere, very different landscapes, and that's the beauty of the Canary Islands, because they are like, it's a small archipelago, I guess, that you can call that, and they are very easily reachable by boat between all the islands, and so it's a great option if you want options, I guess. The fourth one is the Picos de Europa. It's a park in Spain, northern Spain, near Bilbao, and so this is also like, it has incredible Swiss vibes. So if you want Switzerland without the price, you can go to Picos de Europa. The fifth one would be Peru. You know that you have tons of different ruins that you can explore, but the mountains of Peru are also a great option if you want somewhere that is absolutely off the beaten path and that you'll be just the only ones there. The sixth one is the Dolomites in Italy, so that's in northern Italy. The only downside of the Dolomites is that they are hardly reachable. There is no big airport in the Dolomites. You have to drive at least 3 to 4 hours from any other airport, which in Europe is kind of a long drive. But once you're there, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's part of the Alps. It's a huge part of the Alps. You have tons of peaks. It's very recognizable by those peaks, actually. And you have different vibes as well. You can find lakes, you can find mountain tops, obviously. You can find, like, you know, those huge kind of like just green grass everywhere, and so that's also gorgeous. I would just recommend that you visit it during the summer season to avoid having no view, because it can get a bit foggy there, and so you will not see anything, which will be too bad. The seventh will be the Alps in France, Switzerland, and I wrote Italy, but you can also go obviously to Austria. The Alps are absolutely fabulous. You can visit any country that has the Alps in it, and you can find different landscapes everywhere. The beauty of the Alps as well is kind of the architecture that you find there is absolutely gorgeous, and the only thing is that the churches will tell you in which country you are based on how they look, pretty much. The eighth one is Scotland, which has a big place in my heart. Scotland has tons of mountains, obviously, tons of lochs. It's a great option if you want to have kind of a more down-to-earth and very telluric experience. I absolutely love Scotland. I think it has like a very distinguished vibe to it, definitely. And so, yeah, you have obviously you have the Isle of Skye, which is very famous, but it's not very mountainous. You will have more mountains in central Scotland and tons of options in terms of just hiking up to a mountain top and exchanging your vows at sunset. That would be a great option for Scotland. I also have Lake District in the UK. Looks a little bit like Scotland, not as, you know, dramatic and everything, but it's a great option if you want to embrace kind of the beauty of, I would say, a good mix of lakes and mountains, and also like the whole UK vibe that you can find there, which is absolutely like fantastic in general. So if you want to have kind of this vibe, like mix everything up, you go to the Lake District. Then you have New Zealand. I mentioned it before for like helicopter rides, but you can also hike there. You can also just park somewhere and just have a beautiful view. New Zealand is very easily accessible by car as well. Yeah, you have tons, like it's a great country for road trip in general, because anywhere you go, it's beautiful, just like Scotland. So yeah, it's a great option for mountains, and if you want mountain tops by yourselves, that's your go-to location for sure. You have the option of Alberta in Canada, very famous for the mountains, beautiful mountains by the way, lakes and forests and beautiful open views on mountains. It's a great option if you want somewhere that is kind of close to home if you're from the US or Canada, and still embrace the beauty of like a beautiful mountain range. You also have Alaska in the USA. Alaska is, I mean, everybody knows Alaska for bears and the forest, but it's also a very mountainous area. So it's a great option if you want to stay in the US, like you don't want to do like outside of the US. It's a great option with mountains for sure. Another option in the US will be Colorado. It's just basically Switzerland with like maybe smaller mountains, but like, you know, Swiss vibe, but Northern America as well, because you do have lots of pine trees, which we don't really have in Switzerland. I mean, we do, but it's not, you know, as big and tall, and it's a bit different. So yeah, lakes and mountains, Colorado as well. Also, one thing to know about Colorado is that you can self-solonize, which is very easy and very cool to do. So the most beautiful forests. Yes, forest. I absolutely love forest. Some of you know, but my dad was a forest ranger, so I love forest. I love shooting in forest, and I love, you know, like the foresty vibe, kind of dark and green. I love it. So some countries are more prone to have beautiful forests than others, and I'm gonna give you a small list here. This is not exhaustive, obviously. Like you have so many options, and maybe like right next to your home you have like a gorgeous forest. I don't know all the forests, but I would just give you a list of countries that are prone to have beautiful forests. And the first one there is Japan. So not everywhere in Japan, but like in general, Japan introduces nature in its culture. Like it's a very, very big part of the culture there. So you can find beautiful forests that are very easily accessible and definitely part of the whole vibe of the country. You have especially the Yakushima Island, which is on the south part, on the Kagoshima, like next to Kagoshima, and it's a beautiful forest that is made out of like millennial cedar trees. Crazy. Miyazaki actually used that island to like find his inspiration for the movie Princess Mononoke. So you know those vibes, like very deep, moody, dark forest with moss everywhere, and you can see like small sprouts of trees growing around and stuff like that. This is the Yakushima forest, and so yeah, it's a great option if you want to have like this kind of vibe. The second option will be Costa Rica. Obviously you have beautiful, beautiful jungles in Costa Rica and so many wildlife. Also, Costa Rica is one of the most eco-friendly countries in the world. They have like very strict laws to protect their landscapes and their animals. So it's a great option if you want something that is a little bit ecological and still like embrace the beauty of nature surrounding you. You have also tons of waterfalls that are tucked away in the jungle in Costa Rica. So it's a great option if you want like everything together and kind of, you know, warmer weather. So the third one will be Quebec in Canada. I do have like some national parks that I absolutely love in Quebec, especially in the autumn season, because it gets like orange and yellow and red everywhere and it's gorgeous. So I would recommend that you go there during the autumn season to really embrace the beauty of what you can find in terms of trees there. But yeah, it's like very gorgeous, very rich in colors, and it would make for like gorgeous backdrops for your photos. The fourth one will be Thailand. In the forest of Thailand in general, you have jungles, you have like, you know, those big trees with like the hanging roots everywhere. That would be a great option for a forest ceremony. The fifth one would be Finland, and I say Finland because obviously you find some different locations in Finland that have like gorgeous forests that are like filled with trees and stuff, but also like the northern most you get, the least trees you'll find. That's the Arctic tundra for you. But like, you can find some national parks where in the winter the trees are like covered in snow and they kind of look like people, and I think it's gorgeous. Like because they only have like 3 to 4 hours of sun in the winter season, so it's very easy to have, like, you know, those beautiful pastel colors that you find only like right before or right after sunset, like right before sunrise or right after sunset, and kind of the sunset vibe the whole day. So it would be a great option if you also want to see the northern lights, because Finland is like, it's not very prone to bad weather. I mean, they do have like snowstorms and everything, I'm not saying that, but like compared to like Iceland, which can get very, very crazy in the winter because it gets cloudy, it gets very, very windy, Finland is a great option if you really want to embrace the beauty of like the nature and the northern lights. So the sixth option is Guadeloupe, and Guadeloupe is a French island in the Caribbean, and it has gorgeous jungles all around the islands and beautiful beaches as well. So if you want to do kind of the best of both, then it's the best island for that, because it's also very easily accessible from the US. So if you're from the US, it's very like reachable, very easily reachable, and you can go to the jungle and on the beach at the same on the same day for sure. The seventh option will be the Black Forest in Germany, so the Bavaria region. Bavaria like boasts with beautiful castles that are like the inspiration for so many fairy tales, and the forests also are very, very absolutely part of the fairy tales and the legends that you can find in the German folklore. So you can find deep forests that are just with evergreen trees, or sometimes with leafy trees as well. So they're beautiful in like any season. And so the mix of castles and forests is absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely like you're out of the fairy tale. The eighth option will be New Caledonia, which is an island that is also part of like the French territories, and it is in the Pacific Ocean, not very far away from, I would say in between New Zealand and Fiji Islands, but it boasts with beautiful jungle and beautiful trees in general, so it's a great option if you also want a mix of beach and beautiful trees. The ninth one is Indonesia. Obviously, you have so many options in Indonesia, and you can find jungles, obviously, because the climate is more it's definitely tropical, but you also have different viewpoints because it also has a lot of mountains and a lot of volcanoes, and so it's a great option if you want to have like forest but still like an open view on like everything else. For sunset, it will be gorgeous. The 10th option will be Colorado. Yeah, obviously Colorado has also beautiful forests. It's a very natural state in general, so it's a great option if you want to embrace the beauty of forests. The 11th option is Michigan in the USA as well. I really love the forests of Michigan because they are a bit more sparse in general, and so you have much more light, and they're gorgeous in the autumn season as well. So you have like kind of this autumny vibe and plenty of light, which is perfect for photos. Obviously, the 12th one will be Redwood National Park, and like any national park in California, to be honest, because they have like those beautiful, gorgeous trees. One thing to note about like the national parks in the US is that for the most of them you need a permit, and especially like in Redwood and Sequoia, you can only have ceremonies at very specific locations that generally have nothing to do with the redwoods in general, so all the sequoia trees. So yeah, it's kind of the downside of this location is that you go there for the beauty of the trees, but you can't really see them for your ceremony, so it's kind of a bummer. But like outside of those national parks, you have some beautiful Airbnbs that also have gorgeous sequoia trees like right in the front of them, and you can definitely take photos there. Another option that I get a lot is beaches. Yes! So eloping on beautiful sand beach is like ideal, and you have tons of different options. You have black sand beaches, you have white sand beaches, you have white sand beaches or like definitely not in tropical destinations, and that's more often than you think. You have like pink sand as well, like so many options for beaches, and pebblestone beaches as well for like some Mediterranean beaches. So for the most beautiful beach, I would recommend Costa Rica, which would be like, what I loved about the beaches in California is that, in Costa Rica, sorry, is that, so you have the beach, which is beautiful, and then right next to it, you have the jungle. So it makes for like beautiful location, because you have like this a mix of like lush colors from the jungle mixed with the blue, very blue color of the beach, and like the white sand, which is absolutely crazy. And in Costa Rica you can also obviously find some black sand beaches that are beautiful for photos. Second option would be the Florida Keys. I'm sure you've thought about that. So it's very famous. It's just beach. Pretty much it's just beautiful water and beautiful sand beaches, and you also have like a cultural aspect to it. But it's a gorgeous option if you want something that is very easily accessible from home and like has beautiful beaches in general. There we go. So third option, New Brunswick in Canada. I know it's not very like the first thought that comes to your mind when you think about beaches, but to be honest, like the beaches there are beautiful, and the fact that you can mix them with like the forest that you find there is like, for me, it's a very, very big plus. The fourth option is Brittany in France. So it's on the northwest part of France, I would say, and very cultural. The fact that there is nobody on those beaches. Like obviously, if you go in July and August, yes, you'll find some people. Or like the off season, nobody's there. Peaceful walkers, and that's pretty much it. And so you yourself, whole beach for yourself, which is very, very cool. The fifth option is Normandy, also in France, northern part of France, also like kind of northwest. Normandy is also famous like for its part in the Second World War, so you have a very big part of history in Normandy. But it's also great for the beaches, because you have Etretat. I mean, Etretat is not absolutely great for the beaches, but you have beautiful cliffs there, and everywhere is a huge beach, so it's absolutely fabulous if you want to have like a beautiful sunset ceremony there. Scotland again? Yes, Scotland, especially if you go like to the Hebrides or like the Thurso area in general, Tongue as well. Absolutely mind-blowing beaches. Like, you would never believe these beaches are in Scotland. White sand, crazy colored water, and Scotland, which is like a definite plus. So Scotland is a great option if you want like something different for a beach. Seventh option will be Ireland. So obviously Ireland is an island. So you have beaches all around. You have also beautiful cliffs. So it's a great option if you want to mix kind of the historical side of Ireland, which is like huge, with kind of a near the ocean location. It's a great option. The eighth option will be the Faroe Islands. They have beautiful beaches as well, mainly black sand beaches, surrounded by fjords, dramatic cliffs, stuff like that. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, they're like, just avoid maybe the peak of summer season, because they still have like the grind, which is like where they kill dolphins on those beaches. So yeah, you might want to avoid that for your elopement photos. But apart from that, like if you go like in October or in May, you'll be absolutely fine, and those beaches are to die for. Iceland, obviously very famous for the Reykjavik beach. But you have so many other beaches in Iceland. I would not recommend having a ceremony on that beach because it's so crowded and over-touristed. It's not a great option for a ceremony, but it's a beautiful option for black sand beaches for sure, and to mix like everything with like volcanoes and waterfalls and canyons and mountain tops, and like also beautiful architecture. I absolutely love the Icelandic houses, and like Icelandic horses. Yes, for sure. So the 10th option is the Lofoten Islands. These are part of Norway. And when you think about Norway, you think first about the fjords, I guess. But the Lofoten Islands are absolutely famous for their beaches, and which are absolutely to die for. It's just like Scotland. You have like white sand beaches with crazy colored water, with the, like this kind of moody weather mixed with like mountain tops and stuff like that. It's absolutely gorgeous. And on the Lofoten Islands, you have, I think it's 20 days of the year, you have full day sun. So like 24 hours of sun. So if you go like on the summer solstice or around the summer solstice, you'll have sun all the time, which is absolutely cool. Like as an experience, your body is absolutely lost, but it's great to like live once in a while. The 11th option is Vietnam. It's a beautiful city, beautiful country to visit for sure. The beaches are to die for, the food is to die for, and the jungles are amazing as well. So it's like everything you can look for, and you can find it in Vietnam, pretty much. I already mentioned it, but Fiji is also absolutely a great option for beaches. The only downside with Fiji is that it's made of like thousands of islands, like maybe not thousands, hundreds of islands. And so obviously you have tons of beaches, but they're all mainly private. So unless you're like on the main island where you can find a few non-private beaches that are not very, very beautiful, to be honest, you'll have to go to a resort of some kind to have access to their beaches. And so in general, you have to pay an extra fee to have a ceremony there, or even if it's an elopement, which is it's a downside. It's absolutely manageable because the beaches are absolutely worth it, but it's something to keep in mind when you go to Fiji. The 13th option is Greece. Yes, you can find some beautiful beaches in Greece. The water is gorgeous in general because, you know, it's the Mediterranean water, so it's very, very blue. And so it's a great option if you want somewhere that you'll be peaceful, and like you can go on like any island and have a different vibe. I would not recommend going to like Mykonos or Santorini if you're on a beach, because it's gonna be crowded and you'll have like too many people. It's not great. But if you like, you have so many islands, different islands, that you can definitely find your beach that you can have your ceremony on. 14 is Corsica. It's part of France. It's a small island that is in the south of Marseille and Toulon, and a beautiful island, obviously. In the center, you have mountains, like pretty high mountains, to be honest. Like I've recently done a ceremony at a pass, and it was absolutely gorgeous, like with peaks and stuff like that, beautiful trees. And then you drive for like 40 minutes and you're by like the most beautiful beach you've ever seen in your entire life. So that's what's crazy with Corsica. So if you want a mix of both, that's the great option, like the best option. Number 15 is Australia. Yes, Australia is a great option as well. You've heard of the beaches in Australia. They're crazy beautiful. The country is huge, so you have tons of options. And that's what's great about Australia, is that it's so big that it's very easy at one point to find a beach where you'll be the only ones there. Number 16 is French Polynesia. Yes, it's one of my favorite destinations because it has everything you can ask for. Beautiful beaches, beautiful jungles, beautiful mountains, beautiful views in general, gorgeous sunsets, and the food is great. So, yeah, best of both worlds. Like, everything you can ask for is in French Polynesia. And number 17 is Thailand. Thailand also super famous for its beaches, so I don't think I have to tell you about the beaches in Thailand. So tropical places, a few more options, because some of the tropical places that are in that list don't have beaches. So here is the list of like the most beautiful tropical places to elope. The first one is Louisiana in the USA, because like, you know, the climate is like crazy hot and humid, and you can find some like beautiful locations in Louisiana for sure to have a ceremony. The second one will be the Sahara Desert in Morocco. It's a desert. desert, sorry. And so obviously you have like sand dunes everywhere. You can go to a camel ride, you can go to glamping in like under the Milky Way. It's absolutely gorgeous, and you can have so many different experiences in the desert in Morocco, so that I would really recommend it if you are like prone, if you want some sand dunes at one point in your photos, and if you like the dune vibe, then it's definitely your place. The third one is Hawaii, very easily accessible from the US, gorgeous location, like great mix of like mountains, jungles, lava fields, beautiful beaches, everything you can ask for, and different activities as well. Gorgeous weather, great option. Number 4 is Samoa Islands. Not everybody goes to the Samoa, to be honest. They're pretty hardly reachable, very far away from everything, but it's absolutely worth it, because like once you're there, it's just you, and the beauty of the wilderness there, and the beaches, and the like everything you can find there is absolutely gorgeous. So I think it's absolutely worth it. The fifth one is the Azores. So it's not really a tropical destination per se, because it can get pretty like foggy and cold and windy. But it's still like an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and it has its own kind of little climate, so it makes it like a great destination if you want somewhere that has a lot to offer in terms of variety of landscapes. And number 6 is Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, like those 3 countries in general, for sure, great option if you want like a mix of culture and beautiful weather in general. And here's my list of the most adventurous and kind of off the beaten path locations that you might not have thought of. So the first one is Antarctica, very hardly reachable, or you either take the boat with like you go through the Drake Canal, which is in my opinion not an option because I'm extremely seasick, so like it's not even possible. You can also take the plane there. You can go all the way to the South Pole, which I think is really cool. And when you're like near the actual coast, it gets absolutely beautiful for a ceremony. Like you have icebergs, you have wildlife. It's absolutely cool. The second one is part of Alaska. It's the Aleutian Islands. These are, you know, the islands between Alaska and Russia. These are the Aleutian Islands. They are volcanic islands, very dramatic and gorgeous if you want to be just the only ones there. It's a great option. The third one is Norway, because like I get so few inquiries for Norway. I think it's a bummer because I absolutely love Norway. It's a very big country that has such a variety of landscapes. I mentioned the fjords and I mentioned the beaches. You have tons of mountains. It's a great option for a road trip. So Norway is definitely a location that I would recommend that you look into if you want something that is kind of really off the beaten path. The fourth one is Easter Island. Very famous island. Everybody knows about the Easter Island, but in my opinion, it's a very cool location for an elopement ceremony. The number 5 is Newfoundland and Labrador in Canada. This is also a very untraditional and very wild option for a ceremony, and it's like definitely one of my favorites because it is so naturalistic. You can pretty much go anywhere and you'll be the only ones there, which is magical in its own way. So I absolutely love that, and the culture there and the food is to die for. So it's a great location. The Falkland Islands, far away from everything. It's a journey to get there as well. But once you're there, same, very naturalistic, off the beaten path location. Seventh option, Galapagos Islands. This is part of Ecuador, and it's a great option if you want to see wildlife. It's mainly famous for the Galapagos. Oh gosh, it's a lizard, but it's not a lizard. Anyways, very famous for this because it's like a very old animal. And apart from that, the islands in themselves are crazy because they're like beautiful, very volcanic as well, kind of moon, like you land on the moon. when you're on the Galapagos Islands. Number 8 is Greenland. Yay! So you have different settlements in Greenland, and so different cities-ish. And you have to take a plane to go from one to another because there are no roads, which is, like, in my opinion, absolutely famous, like absolutely great to have your ceremony. You can see icebergs. The architecture there is absolutely fabulous, and the people are extremely nice. So it's like one of my favorite destinations if you really want something that is kind of harshly cold, beautiful, and has like everything you can ask for. And that's the end of that list. That was really long, guys. So I'm just going to give you my top 10. In my opinion, my top 10 will be Japan, for like poetic seasonal beauty, French Polynesia for like crystal lagoons and like barefoot luxury, Iceland for the wilderness, it's elemental and cinematic, Switzerland for the lakes, the Alps and the fairytale villages, Bali for the lush jungle elopements and like serene energy in general. Tanzania, I never talked about Africa except for Morocco, but Tanzania is also a beautiful option because you have safaris, epic landscapes, local culture, and part of Tanzania is Zanzibar Island, which is the best location to have your honeymoon for sure. 7 is Norway for the fjords, the cliffs, and the soft Nordic light. You have Patagonia for the untamed wilderness and glaciers. You have British Columbia for the forest, the mountains, and coastal magic. And number 10 will be Madeira for the dramatic cliffs and subtropical beauty. And that's the end of this podcast. If you have any questions, just ask them away and I'll just make sure to answer them. Alright, thank you so much for staying until the end of this podcast. I wish you all a magical day.